Okay, so in my previous 3 videos, I've completed up to 50, so now let's continue. The reason why water is more valuable than diamonds. Okay, so the reason why it's this, right? It's because water has a much higher consumer surplus compared to diamonds. I might be asking why. What's consumer surplus? Consumer surplus is like discounts. If I have to make it simple for you to understand, it's like discounts. So which one has a better discount, diamonds or water? Water technically got a better discount because you can get water for free. You see what I mean? So although like the market price for water is example 5 rand, you can get water for free very easily. So like consumer surplus, your benefit from getting it less than the market price is better. But for diamonds, when they like getting it for 10,000 rand, selling it, they're not going to sell it for you for 500 rand, 100 rand. Like when they have a sale, it's only going to go down by 1,000 rand or 800 or whatever, right? Couple thousands, but it's still going to be high, so you're not going to benefit that much. So water has a much higher consumer surplus, therefore it's more highly valued than diamonds. Yeah, the reason why water is more highly valued, yeah, having a higher market price. Yeah, okay, so 51. Which of the following characteristics of a short run in theory of the firm? Okay, so short run, you basically keep all factors the same, but you change labor. So like, at least one factor of production you vary. Most of 90% of the case, it'll be labor. So you keep on changing the labor, 2 labors, 10 laborers, 10 workers, 15, you keep on changing, but you're remaining others the same. So because short run is considered to be like only like laborers working factors production, changing, and like it's a major form in short run, it's employees. So okay, think of short run as lots of employees. Okay, so to work at this, how to work at average product on the third worker? Take the total product divided by laborer. 12 over 3 is 4. So that's how I get the first 4. And then the marginal product, okay. So at the third worker, by adding the third worker, what is your marginal product? To do that, ask yourself, second worker you had 8, third worker you had 12. So by adding the third worker, what is your extra you got? It's 4. So the answer is 4 and 4, which is A. What is the marginal product of labor is equals to? The marginal product of labor is the increase in output obtained from 1 unit of increase in labor. Same thing we said, 1 unit increase of labor you add, what more output you have. So like, yeah, that's basically the definition. Now, total product curve. So this is the total product, right? If you had to plot this line, it looked like this. You see how it increases first quite good, but then like it doesn't decrease, but like it increases by little each time. So like it increases quite a bit, but then like it doesn't increase that much. So what does it mean? So like this part is like shown like over here. It basically means the smaller the marginal product of labor, which is true. So it's a smaller additional product of labor, so like when you add it, it gets little, the total product. You see, there is a reflector. Marginal cost is the amount of which the total cost increase. Yeah, the marginal cost is related to the total cost. So when you manufacture one more product, how much is the total cost changing? So the total cost increases when 1 or more units is produced. If my total cost is 10 rand, and when I produce now 2 more products and now it's 15 rand, my 5 rand is my marginal cost. When marginal cost exceeds average total cost. So here's the, your marginal cost curve, total cost curve, average variable cost curve, all those cost curves. Yeah. So when obviously this exceeds, this has to be rising. But this is technically easy because all cost curves are rising. So average cost curve must be rising. It has to rise. It can't decrease. It never decreases. Only curve that decreases is the total, average fixed cost curve. The fixed cost, yes. But not all these curves. All these curves increase. Now, one of the most important curves, properties of curves is that the marginal cost curve eventually rises. It has to rise. It genuinely has to rise. All those cost curves besides fixed cost rises, has to rise. Which of the following is false? So it's C. The long run average cost curve is U-shaped because diminishing returns to labor. That's short run, right? Short run, you get all those cost curves and stuff. And then obviously, that will be U-shaped. Long run is like these. Yeah. So in the above diagram, it shows the total cost curves. For 4 different factories. Okay, if it produces 80 output today, actually this is our test 3 question. Yeah, we had this question, test 3. See, they might even take questions from this for this exam. We're doing that tomorrow. So if they're producing at 80, I mean, D is obviously the answer. The firm will choose C because it has the lowest average cost. Why? They'll choose graph C because C over here. For C, this is the lowest of C, the graph C. So like at 80, so like it's the best possible. And if we draw a line over here, it's like the minimum cost, right? Okay, so what is this economies of scale? When you're going down, it's called economies of scale, right? When it's going up, it's called diseconomies. So when the cost is going down, economies is good. Going up, diseconomies is bad. So as output rises, long run average cost rise. This is my long run average cost curve. So it rises. So I'm talking about this part over here. So it's A. 61. A perfectly competitive firm is a price taker. Now, competitive firms are the only firms which are price takers, meaning they just accept what the market price is. They can't change the prices. It's because many other firms produce the same product, right? Lots of people produce the same product when it's perfectly competitive. That is the reason why it's perfectly competitive. There's lots of people competing. They won't compete if they have different products. They all have the exact same product. That is why they compete. So that is why you remember it like that way. So it's A. So 62, this is a correction. It's not B, right? I have in my memo it's B. It's not B. It's actually D. Let me make a note here. It's D. So the way you do it is this. This marginal revenue is a trick question because marginal revenue is this graph over here, like MR, marginal revenue, MR. So in a competitive market, which is a key word over here, the marginal revenue graph is constant. So it just is a horizontal line. So this is always constant. So to work out your total revenue, you'll take the marginal revenue times the quantity. So because all of them are constant, because you got the quantity over here 5, you just say 5 times whatever this is. Whatever this is same price for all. So in this case, the marginal revenue is 100. So marginal revenue is 100 for all. So for example, if the quantity here is 2, we'll say 2 times 100. The quantity here is 5 times 100. So 5 times 100, which we want, is 500. So the answer is actually D. 63. If the market price is below the perfectly competitive firm average total cost, will the firm? So all you need to know, if it goes below the average variable cost, it'll shut down. So it'll continue to produce if the price exceeds average variable cost, right? It'll only shut down when it's below the average variable cost. It won't operate then. But right now it'll operate, but because it's still above the average variable cost. A perfectly competitive firm makes a positive economic profit. So positive economic profit, it's like good profit, right? In the short run, if the market price of a good produce is, yes, greater than the average variable cost. If the market price of the good produce is, yeah. 1 second, I just want to double check this. Because I'm thinking positive economic profit means it's greater than 0, right? But it also means it's greater than equal to 0, because positive is also 0. So, because at this, right? Oh no, wait, I'm right. At the average cost curve, it's 0 economic profit. So greater than the average variable cost is like 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's positive. So yeah, the answer will be D, right? Yeah. So just remember, when you go below the average variable cost, you make a loss. Yeah, 64 I was wrong. It's not greater than, because remember, when you're making a positive economic profit, you always look at the total cost, right? Average total cost. So if it's above the average total cost, it will actually make you a positive economic profit, because when they equal to the average total cost, you break even. 0 economic profit, known as normal profit. So the answer is B. 65. Let's see, 65. Okay, so you now this figure 2. I'm not 100% sure. It's either a mistake over here, or I am wrong. So like you make a decision over here. But basically, first of all, they're saying over here, it shows the maximum profits in the short run. So all of them shows short runs over here. It produces something. So when it always maximizes, it produces where marginal revenue equals marginal cost. So at this dot, at this dot. Now, one thing I saw over here, they make an economic loss. So if they're making an economic loss, the only graph where they're making the economic loss is this one here. Because, why? Here they're making break even because this price marginal revenue, what they're getting is equal to average total cost. And over here, average total cost is below. Wait, what I'm saying? Average, yeah, no, here they're making a profit because the cost is below the sale, so it has to be profit. So it's C. But at C over here, this is fine, 100 Rand is fine because they're producing quantity at 100 Rand. But 3 Rand per unit, it doesn't make sense. 3 Rand per unit. Because if I take 100 divided by 10, that's, no, wait, what I'm saying? They make an economic loss. So to calculate economic loss over here, I would say see this space over here. So it's 2 Rand. Yeah, 2 Rand. But here it's saying 3 Rand. So I think there's a mistake of the question. It's supposed to be 2 Rand. But I could be wrong. But I think it's 2 Rand and the answer is D. But like change the 2. That's what I think, yeah. A firm is a competitive market incurring economic losses. In the long run, firms exit the market as they do. Economic losses of the remaining firm. Okay, so it decreases until the remaining firms break even is B. So let me give you a small summary of competitive markets. Competitive markets, right? They will operate, they'll make profit, they're making tons of money. People like you and me will see those tons of money, will go into those businesses and will open up businesses. So we'll be competing against them. Because so much of business now coming to the market, everyone in the competitive industry will make less profit, and it'll come to a point where like you'll make a loss. So all companies will make a loss, business will make a loss. But then industries will exit. So those that came in will go out. Now because those are going out, slowly that loss will come up. It'll approach to become profit, but it won't be profit. It'll be break even. So they'll just break even for like forever. So the answer will be B. 67 to 80, I will do it on my next part.